everyone. Well, when I made a Mixed Media Christmas card the other day, I used a napkin that was sent to me by Shirley. I think it's the only one I had, Christmas related. And I mentioned that if you didn't have any napkins Christmas related, you could kind of make them. So we're not actually going to make the design of a napkin. We're just going to stamp some images that can be taken out of the napkin to put onto a mixed media card. So I've just grabbed a whole bunch of Christmas stamps. Lost a Merry Christmas there. And I just thought we'd have a go. This one, I just took these three off. They're trees. I don't know where this came from. It looks to me, it's an odd shape. I think this was probably free with a magazine. One of these stamping magazines, you know, this sort of thing. So let's just pop these onto, what do you call it? Blocks. And then we can just see how we go. We're not trying to make a design on this napkin. We're just making sort of element bits so that we can use them. That will fit that one. This will fit that one. We'll just do a few little things of these three trees. So as to colour, we need to decide not what we think is right for this, but what colours we may want to use going forwards. And I think we can use a couple of greens for these. So what shall we do? I find this one very, very blue. Don't know if I care for it too much. I'm you know, on the warmer side. So if the greens that I like are the yellow greens rather than the blue greens. Let's go with Rustic Wilderness for a start. That is a kind of a one-size-fits-all green, isn't it, really? I use that a lot, not as a detail, but as an accent. So what shall we go with? We probably ought to do one of these two, shouldn't we, really? Let's go with Evergreen Bough. I don't think I ever used that one. Evergreen Bough, where is it? That's very blue, isn't it? Very blue. That doesn't really go with that, does it? What would go with that one then? Pine needles, I suppose. Yeah, let's try those two. I don't use these, I have to say. I really don't use these two colours. They're not me. Let's just have a go. Okie dokie. Here we are. Let's try this. I have got I'm going to do a bit of this business, I think. Just on one side. Oh, it's nice, isn't it? That's cool. Okay, let's do another one. You can see that little bit of Rustic Wilderness on one side, can't you? Do the same with this one then. Just put it on that one side. And one more. Okay. Well, I just had to stop for a moment because some chaps have arrived. We have some solar panels on our roof. And our neighbour, quite some time ago, our neighbour informed us that pigeons had taken residence underneath the solar panels. So we had a company come around to put some netting around the solar panels to prevent the birds from getting in. Well, following that, we had another company come to clean the moss off the roof. And following that, our neighbour informed us that the pigeons are taking up residence again. So whether something got disturbed, what I just don't know. So the chaps are up, climbing up ladders and having a look to see what's going on up there. Can't see anything from the photographs that I took, but then I can't take a picture of the ridge of the roof. I'm not incredibly fond of this colour, as I mentioned earlier, so I'm just going to try Rustic Wilderness by itself. Let's just see what this one looks like. Oh, that's nicer, isn't it? It's got some funny little lines going across, but that's fine. Oh, I didn't want to do that one again. Well, I can do it somewhere else. Let's just do... to me, it's a much more approachable colour. Much nicer. Let's just put that one there. Oh, it's stamping well too, isn't it, that colour? Let's do some of the smaller ones. For a freebie stamp, I think this is really rather nice. I imagine it's a freebie. I said to these chaps, they said, oh, they're going to have a look. And I said, oh, have you got a drone? He said, oh, no, we're going to go up a ladder. And they're young chaps. I thought they would have had all the tech, you know, everything to hand. Oh, dear. And these are nice, actually. Well, there's a stand of trees, and I could take anything from any of those. Let's just pop these on one side, and we'll try something else. As I said, we're not trying to make a design out of this napkin. What we're trying to do here is simply stamp some things that we can cut out, you know, or rip out, should I say, to use on a card. And hopefully I'll be able to use one of these presently. This stamp set, I have to say, I absolutely love it. This is an Altenew set of stamps. I don't know if Altenew are still in business, but when I first started card making and doing a fair amount of stamping, I loved their designs. They've got some really quirky ones as well. But this one I think is just fabulous. Let's do some of these snowflakes, shall we? It'll make a completely different look. So for this, we're going to use some blues. Let's pop them onto blocks. There we go. Let's have some faded jeans like I used yesterday. It's a colour I don't use incredibly, but it's a really lovely colour. Let's try this one. Nice. Use a slightly darker one on this one, just for a change, the smaller one. This is chipped sapphire. It's lovely, isn't it? Just love the, you know, the roughness of this stamp set. Okay, that's that one. Let's go with something else. So we've got a few to choose from, because I'd just like to use one of these on a card so that you can kind of see what you can do if you don't have, you know, available resources at your disposal. Right, pop these back on. Let's do the holly. I really like this. I don't know if you can see it. This holly, I just love it. I've used this one. I think I'll do it again, actually. I've used it for where I've done like a tile and embossed with it. Oh, wonderful. Oh, I think I'm going to do that again because it appeals to me. This one I'm going to do not in a colour. I'm going to do it in, I think, black soot. Let's try black soot and see. I love the sketchiness of it. Beautiful. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? I think you can get more ink onto a stamp if you put the stamp onto the ink. This onto the ink pad onto the stamp, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's have another one of these. Okay, how about the one with the branch of with a cone on it, the pine cone. So what you can do is just stamp away with whatever you've got on your piece of tissue. This is the inner piece of one of the napkins that I've used the outer design of. So you've got the idea of that now. I'm just kind of stamping away. Don't like those, there's just too much colour, but let's just clear this and I'll start and make a card using something from here. Well, I've cut myself a panel and I'm devastated to see that I seem to be out of my silk weave linen card. I went to get the next pack and it's paper, not card. So I'm going to have to get on very quickly to Cintigo to get myself some more. They normally come the next day, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. Right, now then, what I thought I'd do is use some of these Christmas trees here for this. But I want to put a bit of colour on first, and I'm just wondering what I'm going to do to add that colour. There are a variety of ways you can stamp some colour on. I used one of these stamps on the bird card the other day. In fact, I used that one. I could do that again, couldn't I? Because it's just kind of handy. So let's just have that. And I was looking through my colours, and I couldn't reconcile myself to any particular colour to have in the background. So what I did, I'm going to try. I don't know if it's going to work. This is an old Stampin' Up pad, and it's called Mellow Moss. Oh, there we go. So that's the colour there when I used it with a blending brush. But let's just see what it's like. Oh, wrong side. Let's just see. And looking at these, I'm going to cut out some, but I think I'll have them on the left-hand side this time, just for a change. So we'll put a bunch of colour on. And I just hope this is going to be kind of a sympathetic colour. Put a bit right at the top up there. Okay. That will do for that. I'll just wipe this and pop it back on the stamp sheet. When you use so many different sets, if you don't put them back straight away, that's when things get mislaid. Right. I've got some colour. Let's do a bit of stamping. And for that, I'm going to use my favourite pumice stone. Got some of these out. I think this one might be quite suitable. It's just like a calendar thing, so you can be counting the days to Christmas, can't you? Let me just pop this into a block. Try with our pumice stone. This hasn't been used before, so it'll be interesting to see how it stamps. Good. That's nice. Let's use some more pumice stone, and I'm going to use a bit of my old, I just love this stamp. I think perhaps I should buy another one in case I wear this one out, because I've used it and used it so much. And let's use a little bit across the middle here. Oh, it's nice. Okay. I find this so relaxing. I just love it. Absolutely love it. One of these days I'll give this stamp a really good wash. Okay. Let's try with the trees. I've got some of the trees now. So may use some of these other little bits and bobs on there. I love this mushroom. I don't think I've used the mushrooms yet, but everything else is fabulous. All right, let's just see. Okay. My water brush just rolled off my lap into the depths below my desk. I can't find it. I'll use a different one. You may well say, well, why didn't you just put the whole thing out as it was? But there's something about the randomness of when you stick things over the top. I'm covering up a nice bit of calendar. I think I might have to stamp that somewhere else as well. So let's just see how we're doing. Okay. I've got the lid of my pen. Don't know where the pen is. It's gone down into the depths somewhere. Right, let's slap it on. There we go. I think it is best if it's kept upside down. A lot of these things I like to keep all my glues, that kind of stuff. Can you see? Keep them upside down so that the glue is right at the tip when I need it. Right, I've got my pasting brush here, so let's just pop some of these on. Can't remember which way that was now. Okay. I think these two did go kind of that way. Right. I have got a couple of little dies out here. I've got a rabbit. I thought I might have a rabbit somewhere down at the bottom, kind of looking, you know, and a few little birds that I thought might pop in somewhere. So let me just do now, I'll do a little bit of embossing. We'll have a bit of snow over this because that green is kind of in your face. If I do some embossing over the top, hopefully that will take it down just a little. So I've got my True Grit here. I need to make some more homemade embossing paste so that anybody can have some whenever they need it. Just mix up talcum powder or cornstarch with glue, white glue, acrylic paint, white, I use white, and maybe just a drop of water, and that's kind of it, really. Put it on, scrape it off. Doesn't take much at all. Oh, that's pretty. Isn't that pretty? Right, I'm just going to wipe this because I don't want it to set. And we'll put a little bit of twinkle on this. I think the rabbit can be black, or I think black. Just wondering if there's any other collagey things to do. I can put a bit of music on. This is actually a bit of napkin, but it is exactly the same stamp as one that I've got, which is an Artemio, again, another Artemio stamp. So I might use a little bit of this. This is just a drinks mat. I hope this black is not too strong. Let's try and separate this up. Julie gave me a load of stampings that she did on tissue of a Gina K music manuscript stamp. She said she couldn't believe how I was still using it. Well, you know, you don't need much on a card, so I have been very frugal with it, shall we say, and done really well. Okay, now here's my water brush. Let's have a little bit of this. The water just softens the fibres of the tissue paper, and so it's, you know, very, very vulnerable in that state, and you can just tear it so easily. You know, just I went on along the edge just so that I get rid of this absolute straight edge. Just have the torn edge is so soft. It's lovely. Okay, it's a nice bit of music. I'll have that on. I think we have another bit of this. That's lovely, isn't it? Okay. Mm. Oh dear. Let's put it somewhere else. Right, but it can go there. Lots of people have asked if there is an alternative to Slap It On. Slap It On is this matte medium that I use for adding lots of collagey things to my mixed media cards. I understand that Mod Podge is a similar product, and they do a matte version, but I have been told by someone who has used it that the matte version still leaves like a shiny sort of surface, and so they find that they have to go all over the whole thing because, you know, it looks odd just in one or two places. So let's just cut out a rabbit. I think we'll have a little, well, I was going to say a little black rabbit, but you know, I'll cut him out of this because it's here, and we'll make it black. I'll cut some of these little birds out as well and see what they look like. There's two there I could use, isn't there? We'll see. I'll just cut some more. Okay, because I can just make them black with a marker. Save rabbiting around looking for a piece of black card. There's my rabbit. I thought he could go down the bottom there somewhere. He's going to be black because he's not the same white, if you know what I mean. He's a different card stock. So I will make him black so he can be a silhouette. Let's see what he looks like. All right. I think the birds can be black.